Hello, everyone. Welcome to Spiritism at Noon, promoted by Spiritist Group of New York. And every week we are studying the book Empty Lives that was written by the Spirit Joanna de Angelis with Divaldo Franco. And we are on chapter 27. And again, I always like to remind everyone each chapter is a different topic. So I'm going to share with you my screen so we can read from the book and continue with our comments and questions if we have. Okay, second. All right. So, seeds of life. It is urgent to show the good in many ways possible. The thicket of ignorance that chokes the seedlings of hope and human solidarity at the present moment of civilization is immense, not only in soils dominated by crabgrass, but by other adversarial pests of the planting of dignity. Here, the aridity of the human terrain is characterized by indifference to the endless increase in human suffering. There, the abandonment to which the flower beds of auspicious endeavors are relegated. Further on, the abundance of birds that feed on the scarce, fragile seeds, and the field appears deserted, laid to waste. Without realizing it, human beings dehumanize themselves due to the multiplication of the harmful, cruel situations to which they have become accustomed. In addition, the amount of merrymaking and disturbing experiences attract the senseless multitudes, choking them in the pestilent breath of delusion and dominating their aspirations and sentiments. Obscene pictures and aggressive, vulgar behaviors invite animalistic sensuality in crude shows of decadent pleasure that have no emotional or relevant meaning. People in general go numb and imitate outlandish types of behaviors in order to draw attention to themselves through what is shocking and crass. Okay, let us stop here. Welcome, Orlando. Good to see you.
Hello, Orlando.
Yes. Uh, so, seeds of light. Joanna de Angelis is trying to make an analogy, or is making an analogy in terms of us looking for, a more spiritual way of living, meaning not putting the needs of the flesh behind, but understanding that we have this immortal spiritual being that needs to be taken care of as well. And so she says that every time we try to
Hello.
start with hello, Orlando, hope you can hear. So every time we start going into direction of promoting or sowing the seeds of light in ourselves, very much like in a garden, we will find so many um, burdens to overcome. And so she talks about pests. She talks about birds that will try to feed on the seeds and eliminate the seeds. And of course, when we are surrounded by all that, and every time we are trying to get better, it seems that our efforts are in vain. We have a tendency to give up and to be just surrounded by this negative energy, negative thoughts, and with all that we are having surrounding us that not necessarily lead us to more spiritual value, but on the contrary, more to material values and the satisfaction of the needs that we impose to ourselves from the material perspective. So this is why it is so hard for us to keep on going and taking care, very good care of our garden and the seeds we are already planting, because they are seeds of light. Anyone would like to make a comment or question at this point? So let's go a little more. Class is struggle and racial behavior and social minorities earning for citizenship accelerate animosities and always culminate in the misery of the defeated, who lose the opportunity to ascend to renew themselves. The loss of existential meaning is spreading rapidly, and the dismayed masses are becoming self-serving and aggressive, attacking the established order of letting themselves to be overcome by discouragement, which leads to depression, to escape by suicide. And in spite of remarkable advances in medical science, there are frequently appearances of threatening epidemics which replace others that have taken countless lives, demonstrating the limited nature of human power and its utopias in controlling nature. Constant seismic phenomena disrupt cities and claim lives in a terrifying manner, subjecting human beings to geological movements and conditions. And it turns out that this is a planet of trials and expiation that is still in the process of purifying its physical mass, eliminating its deadly toxic gases. Arising with difficulty, however, is the dawn of a new day, engaged in struggle against the stubborn darkness of the passing night. Human glories are mixed in with moral and spiritual calamities in a display of primitive scenes. So here she's talking about there's so many different kinds of struggles we go through, and uh, misconceptions, prejudices, everything that we can put in our way, and that it starts creating a necessary burden to us. We have not lose sight that we are still living in a world that is going through a transformation. We've been through trials and atonements and now going through regeneration, but it still requires a lot of, vigilance, watchfulness on our part, and of course, prayer, as Jesus always said. The whole planet is going through this transition as well. We see, like she says here, earthquakes, all the geological movements changing the atmosphere, the toxic gases that we have as well. And um, but she makes a point in asking us to pay attention that there is a mix in moral and spiritual values with the calamities that are happening as well, right? It doesn't mean that all because all of those things are happening nowadays in our lives, and we are talking from the macro to the micro as well, to to the whole world and ourselves. And so it's not that we are talking about things that are not related to us, you know. And when she talks about illnesses, that human science has been struggling and working to eliminate as much illnesses as possible, but it's still there are always something rising, because we have to go to the root of everything, which is always the spirit, right? I may put all the dirt under the rug, but the dirt is there. One way or another, we will have to deal with that, right? So the same thing is with us, with our moral values, with our sentiments. It's not just a matter of, putting a facade, a persona that, of someone good, but actually inside there's just turmoil and a lot of mud. Any questions or comments? Yeah, this is a okay, Marceli, go ahead.
No, I'm just, I like it, this part that she says the loss of existential meaning is spreading rapidly. And we saw, all the time people that doesn't know what is doing here. I think this is a good question that we need to think about it and work with our kids. No, because sometimes I saw my kids, I need to go to school. I don't want to go. It's all the same. And I said, no, but we are here not just because we need to go to school. We have a purpose. No, we need to stay in school with the kids, interacting, because we're learning not just the math, English, science. We're learning how to deal with our things, So I think this is we need to structure and talk about with kids and with us. No, always thinking what I'm doing here, what are my purpose. And I don't know if you see the Blue Zones, a series that everybody's talking about, and they talk about the centenarian people. And one of things that they discover in each part of the planet, why these guys are living so much time, one reason is the purpose, the existential meaning. They know they are doing here, they know their purpose to stay, live, no life. Just a comment.
It's a very good point, because when I was reading, I think, oh, this is a good point to mention, and I completely overlooked that. The thing is, Marceli, it's it may not seem so, but those philosophical questions means more maturity of the spirit. Um, there was a time that we couldn't care less about anything. I mean, I'm just living the day to day, providing for my immediate needs, whatever they are, and not worrying how I get that. Right now, the transition from a more material stage, very much like, from children to teenagers, young adults, etc., is those more philosophical questions are going to come to our minds. The point here is, what are we going to do with that? Are we going to let them be just questions and then we just dismiss because this is too much? I don't want to trouble myself with those big thoughts, philosophical thoughts. Or am I going to be giving myself just to pessimistic take of life? Look around, everything is horrible. Or am I going to go after the answers? And then, of course, there are many avenues that we can get those answers. The purpose of life. It doesn't need to be necessarily in through spiritism. We are not the only ones that own, a path to lead human beings to the truth. So there are many, many ways of reaching that, going through, examining it more, thoroughly. And I think it is important, even when we are seeing this more in our day-to-day lives now, and it is a sign of maturity. Um, and and we can only pray that people will not waste too much time in just rhetorical and discussions, and they really go after answers, because there are many philosophies, religions, even science. When we talk about philosophy, for instance, that can come and provide some answers. But it is true, unfortunately, that we are living in those times. And even for us, knowing what we know, it doesn't mean that we are there yet, and that we do not have our questions or moments that we struggle more to understand things. Okay, so let's read a little more. Nevertheless, it is in that immense territory that the transformative struggles of love occur. The specter of sensualness is forced to give way to new behavior, to what which for 2,000 years has been proposed by Jesus and his messengers. Everything calls attention to the great change which is already taking place on the terrestrial globe. The effort of sowing on the devastation of those soils that must be lovingly plowed is essential and must not be delayed. It is about a sowing of light. Seeds of compassion must be kindly placed in the soil of suffering, desolate landscapes, in order to modify the terrestrial orb, recovered with the verdure of um, hope, where life is expressed in all its grandeur. When this hot, scorching summer passes, when nature exhausted energies receive the blessed fertilizing strains and its climate of horror changes, beauty and harmony will burst out of the hiding places in which they have remained dormant, and everything will be uh, renewed in a colorful springtime of blessings. So it will be with the humanity of the challenging days. The ages pass inexorably, and the blessed moment of renewal arrives, this time permanently. So she's using, uh, you know, uh, an analogy, trying to tell us that regardless of the scenario, the difficulty that we still find in the soil, it 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 doesn't mean that we should not continue seeding sowing the seeds of light, of compassion, kindness, and all of those other virtues. Um, when she talks about when this hot, scorching summer passes, is figuratively talking about the difficulty that we still will find in adverse conditions for things to flourish, for the seed to flourish. But in any case, everything is going to evolve. We know that the law is that of progress. Everything is going to evolve. And it doesn't matter how big our garden is. It may be a very small patch of soil, but whatever we can do that, tending with love, with attention, because we have to be the ones to give examples, to inspire others to do the same. When they see what we are doing with our soil, meaning knowing us, all the difficulties and personality traits that we are now taming, they will say, "Oh, it is possible then to do things. Look at this person. This person has changed. Look at the optimistic view of life and enduring things." So this is what we have to be doing here as well, because things are going to change, and we were called to be the change makers, the change makers of ourselves. We Whether we adapt or we will be delaying in our process of evolvement. Questions, comments?
Yeah, and just add, yes, I love what she's saying here. There are many who are working, I believe, in the right directions. So it seems in the outskirts that it looks like it's not. But like she says, we need to understand that it is very important that we continue this work of enlightening everyone around us, so it can, help those that do not understand. But we always say this, morally and spiritually, it's very, very difficult. But as if one does it and you spread that to someone else and they understand it, so it's a ripple effect. It'll go on and people will understand and grow, but it's gonna take centuries, I believe. And not even that. I think we're growing in some aspect. It's just that we see so much negative out there. It's very hard for us to just, say, oh, we're doing great. But no, just like Joanna de Angelis is saying, there's so much that has to be understood, that we have to care for ourselves. We have to understand that there's work, and there is an understanding that we are going to get better. But with a lot of work, and hopefully, like Marcella was saying about her children, how she explains, you see, you need someone there to help and assist. We'll talk about children. So if many families are not doing that, the children will grow up and not have the idea of moral and goodness here in their hearts. So it all depends on us as adults also, teachers, mothers, priest, whoever you want to say, that sending out vibrations of love and understanding of moral issues, we have a chance here. But each one has to look at it and work at that, improving ourselves and helping the world out there to grow. We see so much calamities now in the world, the wars, the countries that are undeveloped. Okay, it is what we need to see, and we have to do this work also. So it's not a helpless idea that we're going to get there. It's just going to take much, much more work of understanding who we are morally and spiritually.
Hey, is this all right? While you were talking, I was thinking about, um, a person, that works on a garden, an orchard, a sower. And when we first put the seed on the soil, I mean, there are some attitudes that we can have, like, I don't know if this seed is good. I don't know if it's going to be okay with the soil, if the soil is appropriate. Oh, I don't know if I water too much, if I water too less, if the weather. I mean, I think we have to have faith in the seeds that we are planting, And as soon as it starts growing, we may look and say, well, okay, it's growing. It has gone to the first stage, but I don't know if it is going to grow more. Maybe the sun is going to scorch the little plant, or the birds will come and eat it. I don't think it's never going to grow as a tree, or, and then it starts growing and taking shape, and we look and it's still, I don't know, it may have some
Yeah.
termites, or anything, or it will never have enough leaves, and then it does, and then we go, but no fruits for sure, and then fruit. I mean, I think we have this attitude towards us.
Mm.
The little seed that we are just planting, which means is my ideal. Okay, now the ideal of becoming a better person that may distribute it among different kinds of seeds, each one of them representing a different kind of virtue. If I don't trust in them, means I don't trust in myself.
Right.
And with this negative attitude, they cannot grow healthy, you see. So I think it's a lot of believing in God above all, and believing in ourselves. And yesterday, working on a translation from the Spirit Emmanuel, he was talking exactly in one of the messages. He was talking exactly about that. Do not worry if you have failed. Just pick yourself up and start again. Do not stay in the error. Do not, mistrust you because the first time you try to do something, it didn't come the way you wanted it to be. So I think it's very much like that, right? And so there is even a message that he's talking about that, uh, what if the one that is planting the trees since just all of a sudden says, well, I'm never going to see this tree growing or giving fruits. Why bother?
Right.
Right? So I mean, it is our responsibility, uh because I mean, in this case especially, maybe we will not see the tree grow and give fruit in our lifetime, but we will be back and we will enjoy
Mhm.
that tree, that not knowing it was us, it was ourselves that have planted in the first place. See, so not being selfish and not being, um, not trusting in our power to do things. I think it's very important for us to have that in mind. Let's read a little more. This state of affairs, however, will depend mainly on human beings, their thoughts, behaviors, and sentiments in light of the circumstances and possibilities that arise. You were born during this challenging time to contribute to the new order and the broadening of the horizons of the selfless service of love. It is essential to understand that everything originates in the human mind, which is the co creator of the universe, the provider of energetic vibrations of both good and bad, and that which chooses what it deems necessary for existence. In that tabernacle, the seat of thought, lie the powers of life, which are neutral and may be used for something useful and felicitous, or for something vain and devastating. Yours is a commitment to the emissaries of light indestructible, the guardians of the cosmos in the name of the Creator Father. Pay no attention to those who remain insensitive, distant, helpless, or lost on the paths of short lived material illusion. It is up to you to turn on the light in the darkness without complaining, to plow the soil that you must sow, thus creating a point of light, a garden, an orchard of vital importance. You were reborn to be happy and to place markers of joy along the road you travel, even if the circumstances are not favorable at the moment. So, stars of luminescent clarity, do not be disturbed by the shadows or the threat of storms. All of this will soon pass, and it is essential that there be glistening goals ahead. Do not be sullied by the darkness that you are called to dissipate. So light over and over. When Jesus came to earth, desolation and hatred were triumphing. Arbitrary power was dominating people's lives, and moral misery reigned supreme. Slowly, he renewed the moral landscape, blessed nature, and lit the light that remains unquenchable to this day. They crucified him, yet his triumph was beyond dispute. The same is happening now. So, on this final note, is when she says, we were invited to be here, to become part of this transformation. And it's a blessed opportunity for us to be able to do that. Yes, things are not yet um, the way we would like them to be, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be working and striving for the seeds of light to be planted and to tender them in the way that they could uh, conquer their space, the darkness they are submerged, and bring light to everyone. Jesus had to go through the same thing. Many will say, I'm not Jesus. Yes, we are not. You are absolutely right. But we are working to follow his examples because he is the path, right? The way, the truth, and the light for all of us. Any questions or comments?
I like this part, so powerful. No? This part that she says, it's essential to understand that everything originates in the human mind, which is the co-creator of the universe. It's so powerful, no? Because this is our seeds too, not just our acts, but our thoughts are is a seed too. We are creating vibration, good or bad vibration. So this is a seed that we are planting in our house, in our community. We always are surrounded by people, and we are creating. No, so I think this sentence is powerful.
Yeah. Any more comments or? So we know, right? And we are doing. So it's just a matter of keep on doing and do not let yourselves be uh, stuck in the way just because things that are happening around you are not necessarily contributing for the efforts you are putting into everything. Uh, this is an individual conquest. It's not a matter, well, on when others starts, I will start myself. It's we should all be doing that together, and we understand that some are, more advanced, not because they were created in privilege, but because they learned their lessons more in other opportunities, and we lag behind. So let's look at those that can inspire us. Why do we always have to look at, places that are wrong? mostly because psychologically speaking, we want to justify us not doing anything. Or, just saying, you see, look at the world. It's so bad. Why do I have to change? Why do I have to do anything? And this is a very comfortable position for those who do not want to do the work. I'm doing the change. Doing the effort because it's between me and God. It's not between anyone else. If someone, if some people are behind, let's have compassion towards them. If some of them are before us, um, let us take them as example and move faster, and let's just do our job. It's not a matter of just finding always an excuse to delay and procrastinate what we will have to do. So that's the lesson that Joanna de Angelis leaves for us today.
Can I say one more thing that I like it? She says here, it's up to you to turn on the light in the darkness without complaining. Just I pay attention to this because this year my goal is not complaining so much. So I'm doing my best, but I like to complain. So this is not good. Always complain that the people doesn't like, and it is boring. But I don't know. We have this in our. I don't know if it's a Brazilian thing, but sometimes this is so cold. Oh, this is so hot. Never is okay. So I think is we need to work in this, and I'm putting myself because I'm working this. So this I paying attention in this sentence too. So it's up to us.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, it's just this. It's just I think it's important to.
Very important, Marcel, because the thing is, oh my God, we are such a complex being, right? Because many times, I say for myself as well, I mean, we complain because we are in need of a hug. uh, it doesn't need to be the hug, but someone to say, "Oh, come on, let me cuddle you." And I think in one way is that we need to be cuddled. We need attention, right? And one thing as well that it's strange, but I think that it happens as well. It's We are afraid of announcing our happiness and balance to the world because we think that people either are not going to understand or they will have the possibility of taking that from me, right? So when times are good, we kind of say, oh yeah, it's okay. We don't say too much, and when things are not necessarily that bad, we say, oh my God, it's been so hard. But I think it's because of that. We need that uh tap in the shoulder to say, no, you can do it, go ahead, or well done. You have been appreciated. So I think it's this complaint is more like, we need the appreciation.
Yeah.
Like house housewife, for instance, like you do all the housework that it's really unnoticeable many times, right? People only notice if there is an accumulation of dust or something like this, right? Or the laundry is not done. And the thing is, you need the appreciation. Look, everything is clean and in order because I did a work, and nobody is noticing that. I think in many cases this is why we go through this way, and it's more common than we think because in our psychological maturity we do need words of encouragement and appreciation, and like I said, this kind of cuddleness so that we can go ahead.